Uh, but it was not until I experienced this version of who God wanted me to be that I was released from that shame and what happened to me and everything that came through that. So now I can say, yeah, I was molested and this happened, and you know what I mean, and free from all that, free from my past, free from the pain of all those different things. But it came from that relationship. It came from that love. Like it didn't come from tradition. It came from God. He loved me where I am, you know, and that makes me want to be better because he loves me for who I am.
The Chosen Project is a visionary saga that blends African heritage, biblical allegory, and mythic fantasy into a story of exile, revelation, and destiny. Through Enoch's journey, the series explores the battle between seen and unseen forces, inviting readers into a spiritual odyssey both timeless and urgently modern. Available on Amazon.com and Kindle Unlimited. Check out The Chosen Project by A.J. Moore.
Only God Can Judge Me reveals the real person behind the legend of Tupac.
I'm sitting here with Devon Hodge, and Devon is the lead to my book, Only God Can Judge Me, about Tupac Shakur, because Devon is the baby from the Brenda's Got a Baby.
Tupac's death is the dumbest shit of all time, because he died because all these guys sold him this lifestyle idea.
And, shout out to Edie of the Outlaws. You know, he had a live taping of his actual podcast about the Outlaws. I got questions and I got smoke for this guy. And he seen it on the Instagram post. And so we started talking in the inbox. And so he said, hey, you got any questions? You can ask me here or you can ask me there. I said, I'll do both. So me being true Sagittarius, you know, I pulled up too. You know, so we drove all the way to Calabasas to make it happen. So, but, you know, we did talk. He said he's open to come on to the show. So maybe...
demand that I give a certain amount. How are you going to demand that? That's crazy.
To say that you get more jobs outside of the Breakfast Club now without mentioning that you get them because the Breakfast Club is crazy.
He wasted a half a year in the campaign. And so where she, again, matter of fact, looking at me suspicious, but right now you don't pay attention to those that be trying to propose the king. Yeah, you know what I do, yeah, you can see how I swing. I can hear a thing in my headphones, but right now you can see that I'm not deaf, no. But still, I'm just really speaking. Right now, 3rd degree, do it on the weekend. Leave them leaking if they got something to say. You already know that we really don't play. Throw your hands up in the air if you were true cleared. If you really don't give a care, we be doing it right there. It's really not fair. Look at me, lyrical, verbal nightmare. You stare and glare. Yes, I know you wanna hate, but you can't relate. So you sit back and conversate. In the dark, we found our mark. So we about to go ahead and just let the show start. Spark up for blunt, that's not what you want. If you stepping up the 3rd, you can see I'm no punk. You can get jumped and stumped out. And right now, we about to blow. Let's go ahead and start the show. Whoa. What's good, y'all? What's good, Quez? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, my brother?
Man, you can hear the music?
Yeah, I can hear it.
I couldn't hear a dang on thing. I don't know what was going on, man.
Well, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, a true performer never lets anybody know there's something wrong with the show, man. You just keep going.
That's the perfection of freestyling.
That's it. Yeah, we couldn't tell it all. You know what I'm saying?
Word to Big Bird, you heard it from 3rd, man.
What's going on? We a day early, man. Don't say I don't want to. Yeah, let me shut up, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get to it, man. I'm excited, man.
Right. Hold on, real quick. We got Rob. Rob, you good to come through?
Give us a thumbs up, Rob. There you go. Yeah, you gotta give us 2 because you kind of clear. It kind of blended in with the wall.
Hey, make sure you guys are hitting the share button. What's good with you, man?
Good, man. I'm ready for tomorrow, Like this week needs to end. This week needs to end.
Amen to that.
And I'm saying it with a smile. I'm over it.
Aren't we all?
Amen to that. No,
how you guys doing, man? How's everything going with y'all?
Man, we are here. How about you?
I'm the same, man. I'm the same. Another day, bro.
Another day,
same
another
shit.
penny.
Same shit.
Right. Have another opportunity to be great, sir. Don't worry.
How are you? How are you, Jess?
I'm pretty good. Just a little tired, but I'm pushing.
Hey, don't worry. You get to rest tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? You can rest tomorrow. You can. Yeah, you go to sleep early.
That's the busiest day ever. What you talking about? Rest.
Well, we took one of those things off your plate, man. So you
and so what Quest is alluding to, normally we do the shows on Friday, you know what I'm saying? But
at least I get to sit.
I don't see how that went over your head. But
you know what? Leave me alone.
But yeah, so
at least I get to sit while I do the show. Tomorrow I won't be sitting.
Okay, so again, before I was so really interrupted, so we're normally here on Fridays. Normally here on Fridays, right? But because our guest, he has scheduling things going on, he wanted to do it for today. So we made an allowance. We're like, okay, cool, we'll come through today. We'll talk with you. So, but we will rebroadcast though at the same time. So you will still see us, but we're just a little day early because we want to make sure we come through, we would get the live folks, the live audience. So we need you to do us a favor, though. If you guys are here and rocking with us, please hit the like, share button. You guys are on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube folks. Make sure you guys are sharing. Engagement is key. And right now, we have a guest right now that dropped something so controversial. We want all the engagement. We want the numbers to go up. So sharing is caring. So please share. Get your numbers ready, because it's about to go down tonight. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, sir.
But with that said, let's go ahead and let's get into a little bit of ratchetness. We will be right back.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy 3rd Degree. We're back with more ratchet news. Well, some of it's ratchet, some of it's not, but we still got to speak on it. So, let's go.
Well, in honor of tonight's topic of at hand, Oakland jewelry store owner locks 5 robbers inside, 2 is unalived, and survivors charged with the unaliving. Man, he wasn't playing. Wrong one to mess with, right? All right, moving on. Trump administration wipes SNAP benefits info from government site. It's beginning to look real ugly and dark around here. We will keep you posted. All right, moving on. Cameron sues J. Cole over Ready 24. Man, you know what I'm saying? Talk about petty, but man, we're going to talk about this later too. Moving on. Can't Catch a Break Drake files a notice of appeal over defamation lawsuit against UMG and Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. Buddy, it's over. Like, give it up, right? Moving on. I think yesterday was the birthday of Tracy Ellis Ross. Happy birthday to her. Salute, Queen. Moving on. It's being reported that for the first time since 1990, no rap songs appear in the Billboard Hot 100 Top 40. I think it's time for Kendrick to make that call, go back into the studio. Or is it going to be You Can't Catch a Break Drake? I don't know. Moving on. I don't know if this is true, but it's definitely ratchet. Jamie Lee Curtis says nobody can tell which of her daughters is trans, and she wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, moving on. Sorry this is out of sync, but going back to the SNAP stuff. Angry SNAP recipients threaten to loot if food stamp benefits are cut on November 1st. This is what I'm talking about. America's about to get dark and ugly real quick. But I said something like this would happen on the show. I'm going to clip it up and put it up later. But moving on. Trump administration reinstalls Confederate statue in Washington. I mean, are we surprised they're telling us who they are, right? Man, but you guys voted for them. Moving on. But speaking of dumb Trump, LA to Mexico flights among 13 U.S. airline routes terminated by Trump administration. What the hell is going on? Moving on. Starz has canceled its series BMF after 4 seasons. Several spin-off projects remain in development. And you know who couldn't wait to waste any time? Good old 50 Cent, man. He went to trolling Little Meech in its comedy. It's sad but funny too at the same time, man. Hope they can work out whatever it is they got going on. Moving on. It's being reported that Sonya Macy's unaliver has officially been found guilty in her unaliving. So shout out to the judicial system for finally getting something right. May he rot in jail or whatever happens to him. Who cares? Rotten piss, punk. All right, moving on. It's being reported that black women prefer effort over high incomes when dating, according to new survey. Hey, is this true or not? We'll talk about this on the future episode. All right, moving on. A truck carrying monkeys with hepatitis C, herpes, and COVID crashes in Mississippi. One still missing. So is this like the outbreak monkey? Why does this feel intentional with all the crazy stuff that's going on, right? Moving on. Oh, man. Jaylen Brown, I guess, got a haircut, went bald after he rubbed off some of his hair on the player. And Kevin Durant said, oh, that's better, so you won't be leaving stains on your opponent's jersey while playing. And Jaylen Brown clapped back, man, I'm embarrassed for you. Your hairline looks like an NFL field. Ugh. So true. All right, well, moving on. UPS just laid off 48,000 people like it's nothing. It's crazy what's going on. Moving on. It's being reported that the cast of Married with Children to reunite in LA. I don't know for what, but hey, we'll see. Moving on. DeAndre Jordan was on the street 4 days ago, and you let him dunk on you? Joe Maluza in the Celtics huddle. That's talking about shade, right? Moving on. It's being reported that Young Bleed of No Limit is in the ICU after suffering medical emergency after the verses. So prayers out to him, sending healing energy up to him, and we hope you get well, King. Moving on. China now requires influencers to have university degrees to talk about money, health, or education. And flexing is now banned too. China's not playing. All right, moving on. Earlier this week, I think Jamaica and the Caribbean is still in the path of Hurricane Melissa, man. So just prayers out for them. Prayers out to the families. Hope everybody's safe, man. Just tap in, send whatever aid that you can to help. All right, moving on. NFL player saw his coach as a father figure. Years later, he learned that the man was actually his biological dad. Man, this sounds like an interesting story. All right, we will keep you posted. Moving on. It's being reported that studies show giving your girlfriend foot massages makes her love you 23% more. Hey, brother, so if you want to avoid the heat, you better start rubbing those feet. All right, moving on. New York City detective and mother of 3 is unalive while in Colombia getting a BBL. Man, prayers out to her and her family. When are y'all going to learn to just love yourself, embrace what you got, and leave the other stuff alone, y'all? You are enough. You know what I'm saying? All right, man, moving on. It's been reported that R&B singer Sammy arrested in Georgia facing child cruelty and family violence charges. Man, prayers out to that situation. Moving on. Palm Springs begins dispersing $5.9 million in reparations for Black, Latino, and Indigenous families displaced by Section 14, a neighborhood the city burned in Bulldales. Man, talking about Palm Springs getting it right, so maybe the rest of California can get it right. Maybe the rest of these other states. Reparations, man. Well, moving on. Black students are disappearing from elite college classrooms following affirmative action ban. Wonder why? It's by design. Moving on. Shout out for the team for dressing like Biggie Smalls for Halloween, and he was a dead-on ringer, right? Moving on. It's been reported that Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are reportedly discussing a 2026 rematch. That might actually be good. They're both older. We see where they're at now, right? Moving on. California Governor Gavin Newsom finally confirms his 2028 presidential ambitions. Bro, we talked about this on the show. We will run this back. Moving on. Then last Saturday, we saw the versus matches between Cash Money, No Limit Records. It was epic, but that's what we're going to talk about tonight too, all right? So, moving on. Last but not least, shout out to Jeff Pearlman for stepping through to drop your 3 cents. He's coming up next, and we will talk about his controversial but interesting new book, Only God Can Judge Me, The Many Lives of Tupac Shakur, all right? So stay tuned, kick back.
Anyway, I'm your boy Third Degree, and that's been your Ratchet News. Enjoy the show.
We are back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't even watch the verses.
Yeah, what?
I didn't watch it. Nah, because I already know who had hotter tracks. So to me, it was like a no contest.
So
yeah, who was that?
Who had the hotter? Yeah.
No Limit. What?
Okay.
No Limit. What? Wait,
why
is that even? Why was even that debate? Like, hold on.
Because it's just based on the individuals who would be attending is what set that one apart. Because if we went
and Mystical wasn't there either, so there was no point.
Yeah. Either was Lil Wayne.
Obviously, right? He couldn't be there. You know.
But he was, in my opinion, he was the hottest artist. So, like.
That's fair.
Hey,
did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. I would say Mystical might have been the original Take That. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought it was dope, man. It was good energy. I mean, there were some moments in there where I was like, all right, man. You know, it's kind of dry, but all in all, you know, it was good for the nostalgia feeling of, you know what I mean, back in middle school and early high school, living out that No Limit and Cash Money.
Was your boy Silk the Shock there?
Oh yeah, Silk the Shocker was up there rapping off beat.
Man, I tried to wake Jessica up. You know, I'm like, yo, your man's on, your man's. She look up. Yo, your man's.
I never liked Silk the Shocker. Never liked them, man.
Uh-oh. I mean, you know.
I think he was like the first pretty thug that was out there. Hey, man, that's crazy. You might be right.
So I'm gonna give you a quick rundown. I watched it. You know what I'm saying? It was epic. If we're talking catalog, you know, of course, Cash Money has the longer pause catalog. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking Lil Wayne, Juvenile, BG. You know, then you're talking Drake, then you're talking Nicki Minaj, you're taking Birdman, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they only performed 10 songs each, you know what I'm saying? And between those 10, I mean, even Juvenile didn't even do High, which, you know, to me, if he would have did High, I think he would have had the crowd a little bit more in there. And then, you know, Master P, of course, he was doing all his little commercial stuff, you know, his songs. But you know, when Ice Cream Man hit, I'm like, oh, okay. Then when with Young Bleed, you know what I'm saying? How you do that there? I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. Then it was the mic drop. The mic drop was about it. You know, when he told Birdman, like, yeah, you may have started all this stunting and then all that, but I was uptown too. And I started, and when that beat kicked in, it was like rap. It was a rap.
Hey,
Then
wind
the
him up.
cherry on top was Snoop. Snoop came through and he understood the assignment. And then on top of that, he said he didn't need no track, he didn't need no vocals, he didn't need nothing. All he needed was his mic. And he went up there and ripped it a cappella. It was a mic drop, So yeah, No Limit won that one hands down, man. I think they need to do a rematch somewhere, maybe. Maybe Lil Wayne could find it within his schedule. Hopefully everything was all right with him, but hopefully maybe he can come through and lend them a hand.
Yeah, but you gotta look at. I mean, I thought Lil Wayne blew up after Cash Money.
He kind of
that's
did.
all. That's kind of like him and Drake and all Nicki. They're all Young Money. But
still, if you understand dynamics, it was Young Money / Cash Money / Universal. So they were still being funded by Birdman. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that was what their whole little blow up was about anyway. But single-handedly, Lil Wayne, Carter 1, Carter 2, this was here, Carter 3, out of here. You know what I'm saying? And he was just mixtape after mixtape. He put Cash Money on his back. Because after a while, I mean,
Juvenile was their hottest artist till Lil Wayne opened his mouth. So
for me, I couldn't really stand Lil Wayne. Maybe it was the voice or the simplistic rhymes at the time, the bling bling. I was Juvie, BG. Cash Money as an Army, but he had Navy. He had like a different style that was just hot. But for me, definitely Juvie's actual real spitter. And then when he did Slow Motion, that was another mic drop. But the two that really stood out was Mia X. Shout out to Mia X and Juvenile.
Mia X, dude. She was hard, bro. She was hard.
She don't get her flowers. She don't get her just due.
She held that together, man.
Because I look at Cash Money, I'm like, BG. Like BG, whatever. That dude was trash. I thought Manny Fresh was dope, though. He definitely had some fat beats. I mean, even though he looked like a Ninja Turtle, he's pretty badass.
I mean, Fresh looked like somebody's stud auntie. You know what I'm saying? That's what he looked like.
Damn. I said Ninja Turtle. He's like stud auntie, bro.
Yeah, that's somebody's stud auntie. But no, it was good. I think they had the wrong crowd. I think I said that last week. I just think the crowd wasn't really that into it. You know what I mean? Like they needed it. They needed a maybe a more southern, not even really southern, but maybe a older crowd too. You know what I'm saying? They needed some of us 40-year-olds in the building. They had a lot of influencers and young people in the crowd. They don't really know about that era. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They definitely didn't know about it.
Word.
They wasn't up in that. They didn't have the truth of the game.
All right, y'all. So we gotta get ready for our guests to come through. So I need everybody. So a couple of house rules before we start going into the ads. I do have the link posted up in the description. If you're on Facebook, I'm getting ready to put it into the comments. If you come on, just know that if you're using your phone, you have to use headphones. They will work to help with the bleeding into the show. Also, too, your microphone, your phone, your microphone, whatever you're using picks up everything. So we want to always let you know and remind you that this is a production. You can be clipped up and you can be sent out. I have over 5 million some views on YouTube. We get over millions and some thousand some views sometimes even on here on Facebook. So we don't want you looking busted. We don't want you looking ratchet. We report the ratchet news, but we don't want you looking ratchet. But yeah, Rob, last week you were crumpling some paper. I got a clip of you literally crumpling the paper, man. I can't even use the clip. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
My
man.
bad.
So just make sure that you guys are keeping your nice, quiet place. You guys are near your Wi-Fi. We don't want no buffering. We don't want no background noises, no dogs, no kids, no gunshots or helicopters. Nice, quiet spot with your Wi-Fi. Also, too, we want to make sure that their respect level is high and present. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to agree to disagree, but do it respectfully. No name calling, no getting out of hand. If it starts to get a little too heated or if you get out of pocket, we will put you backstage so you cool off. You ain't cool off, then we just got to exit you from the show. Also, too, if you have questions, feel free to come on and ask questions. This is definitely a good chance to, especially if you want to learn about Tupac. if you want to learn more about, about the biography and everything like that. But other than that, let's just come on and have a good show. Anything else that I missed?
Not that I know of. We're good.
No, sorry, Bob. You covered all the bases, man. And shouts out to the people who can't control the helicopters and the gunshots around their house. You still welcome up here. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you duck and get inside, man. We want to make sure you're safe first. You know what I
mean? Exactly. All right, y'all. So we're going to run a few ads real quick, and then we shall return.
Uncle Nearest Premium Whiskey is a brand of Tennessee. Whiskey honoring Nathan Nearest Green, the first known African-American master distiller. The Nearest Green Distillery, located in Shelbyville, Tennessee, is the world's first distillery named after an African-American. Green is credited with perfecting the Lincoln County process, a charcoal mellowing method that defines Tennessee whiskey's smoothness. Get your bottle today. The Chosen Project is a visionary saga that blends African heritage, biblical allegory, and mythic fantasy into a story of exile, revelation, and destiny. Through Enoch's journey, the series explores the battle between seen and unseen forces, inviting readers into a spiritual odyssey, both timeless and urgently modern. Available on Amazon.com and Kindle Unlimited. Check out The Chosen Project by A.J. Moore.
This soul food spot is a hidden gem in San Bernardino. With $10, you get a full plate and they do not hold back. It's a family-ran spot and they make you feel right at home with the crispy fried chicken that's juicy, mac and cheese and collard greens that slap, and their crispy fried fish. When you pair it with the yams and the potato salad, it's game over. Top it with the dessert, all homemade. The food hits, the prices are beyond fair, and the hospitality is great. All at Melba's Soul Food Kitchen in San Bernardino.
Yeah. You're wasting time. All right, y'all. We are back. We are back. Man, you're muted, sir. It sounds like you're dropping some fire. But
no.
Quez sound like you're dropping some fire, but he's muted.
Oh. Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah, Quez,
I was talking shit. You know what I'm saying?
What ish were you talking?
I said we better not get no copyright on this episode because of your own personal music. You know what I'm saying?
We should be good.
Yeah, okay. On your ass.
Wow.
Right. But yo, make sure you guys are hitting the like, share button. If you guys are on Facebook, make sure you guys are hitting the like, share. If you guys are on YouTube, shout out to the YouTube crowd. Make sure you get the like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. Also, too, you know what I'm saying? So just a little backstory. You know, we have a special guest coming up soon. You know, Mr. Jeff Pearlman. You know what I'm saying? He definitely is a cool dude. You know, here goes a little backstory of just a little bit of how we kind of came to this right here.
Only God Can Judge Me reveals the real person behind the legend of Tupac. Keith Murphy reports that Jeff Pearlman, who's best known for his sports biographies, is stepping into new territory with a book about rapper Tupac Shakur. It features more than 650 interviews and never-before-seen love letters written by a teenage Tupac that show a more romantic and vulnerable side of him. Pearlman digs into the rapper's complicated upbringing and his relationship with his mother, former Black Panther leader Afeni Shakur. Pearlman also breaks down long-standing conspiracy theories surrounding his 1996 murder, pointing to new details and first-hand accounts. The result is a raw portrait of an artist whose impact stretched far beyond music and whose story still defines a generation.
Yeah, so we are back. We are back. Jeff, I see you. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready. All right. So, our next guest is a best-selling American sports writer and author known for numerous books on sports dynasties and figures, such as the Showtime Lakers, the 1986 Mets, and Brett Favre. His work has appeared in publications like Sports Illustrated and ESPN.com, and his book Showtime was adapted into the HBO series Winning Time. He is also a podcaster, a contributor to The Athletic, and he recently published a non-sports biography on Tupac Shakur entitled Only God Can Judge Me, The Many Lives of Tupac Shakur. So without further ado, we'd like to welcome to the stage Mr. Jeff Pearlman.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
I just want you guys to know, this is very important to say. Of all the Jewish sports writers who have written a Tupac book, I'm going to be your best of the guests. I will be your best guest. Any Jewish sports writer you ever have wrote a Tupac book, I'm going to be number one. I'm going to own it. You don't have to worry. I'm here.
Right. So you guys are in the show, but it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show. Yes, sir.
So, formally introduced, this is my partner, Quez. Of course, you already met my queen, Jessica. And then we got my friend, Rob. He was in music with us, too. So, yeah.
Hello. Good to meet you guys.
How's it going?
I'm well. Thank you. Method, what is that back there? What is that football imagery I'm looking at behind you?
Right. Oh, to my right here?
No, the other one. What is that?
Oh, that's Bret Hart. That's the sharpshooter of Shawn Michaels.
Got it. Okay. It looked like a football.
Yeah. The other one's the Malcolm Butler game-winning INT on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, very nice.
So you gotta go with those.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't knock the sharpshooter, Quest.
Hey, Bret Hart.
I didn't even say anything, man. Look, calm down.
I think I put my girl in a sharpshooter, bro.
I didn't take any shots at your memorabilia, sir, at all. I was gonna let you have your moment to shine. It's okay. Well, let's focus on our guest, man, Mr. Pearlman.
Jeff, I want to congratulate you on your book. I just saw your post where you, I guess, it moved 8,000. Yeah, 8,000 units.
About 8,000 books this first week, which is for me a record. So that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
man.
People think you sell like 100,000 books. How do you make the best? It's not like that. Books are a very, it's a $30 product. So it's not just like you're giving them away, and it's expensive. When we live in this age of digital, so it's a lot harder than it used to be. Sincerely, to sell books. So you do what you can.
Right.
No,
man,
absolutely.
Your book has been bringing up a lot of noise, man. And, the one thing I'm going to congratulate you on and salute you on, your press run has been great, man. You've been popping up everywhere.
Yeah, pretty good. It's interesting because it's my first non-sports book. So I've written 10 sports books. Mm-hmm. And it's really helped me to have sports connections, like places you wouldn't think, like All the Smoke, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, former NBA players, Rich Eisen, Jim Rome. A lot of sports people had me on to talk about Tupac, the NFL Network, and that really has helped me a lot because I don't have amazing hip hop connections in the same way, hip hop media. I don't know Sway, I don't know Charlemagne. So I've had to rely on a little unorthodox approach to promoting it, which is talking Tupac on sports TV. It's been okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's a smart strategy because a lot of sports enthusiasts listen to hip hop. It's kind of intertwined. in that regard, as far as NBA and NFL and stuff like that, Sports Center, a lot of those individuals kind of lead into the hip hop genre as well. So I think that's a great strategy, man, without having those extra connections in the hip hop world per se. But going on those platforms kind of probably opened up a lot of people to pay attention to the book release.
I mean, the one that was the most like fish out of water in a way, and I've been on before, but I went on Good Morning Football because one of the hosts, Kyle Brandt, is a longtime friend, and they're going from talking about whatever, Jordan Love to the Saints to whatever to Tupac. So a 7-minute segment on Good Morning Football about Tupac. And people are just, I've always tried to be nice to people in my career. And I think if people remember you, if you treat them well and if you're kind to them and if you give them help when they need it. And I was a sports guy who wasn't writing about sports, who needed help. And, people in sports helped me out. So it's been cool.
That's awesome.
So what would you say was your favorite book, your sports book that you've written thus far?
So the book that I enjoyed the most, I wrote a book about an old football league called the USFL. And the USFL was a spring rival to the NFL in the early 1980s. Donald Trump ruined it. There was this league with a lot of famous NFL players: Jim Kelly, Steve Young, Doug Flutie, Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
My agent originally said nobody wants a USFL book. And that book actually made the New York Times bestseller list. So sometimes when you do something and everyone says you shouldn't do it, it feels really good when you accomplish something. So that was probably the Tupac book is probably my favorite book I've written, but the USFL book was probably before that the most satisfying.
Right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish that one. I got a question when you're done.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, just relatively, what kind of drove you into venturing off of the sports theme and jumping over to Tupac specifically. Like, you didn't even jump to like hip hop per se. You just jumped straight to Tupac, which is kind of anomaly in himself, especially after listening to and reading the book, right? What drove you to that path specifically?
It's actually a funny question, because if you think about it, I would have been wise like going in the kiddie pool first and maybe doing the Young MC book, right? Or the
Young MC
or the De La Soul book, just something like, because Tupac is such a heavy category. Hip hop fans, and in particular Tupac fans, obviously they're not just fans of his, they are guardians of his. I think people view themselves as guardians. The same. I just think there's a crossover, Tupac fans, Elvis Presley fans, not a crossover, but the same way. Like, you don't talk negatively about Elvis. Elvis was a god. You don't talk negatively about Tupac. Tupac was a god. And I feel like I really wanted to write. I find his story fascinating. I think a lot of when someone dies young, you wind up having a lot of mythology and a lot of stories that get repeated over and over and over again. And you have the same 20 people telling the same stories over and over again. And I just thought there had to be something to add to this. And I thought, I've been waiting for, there's a writer named Kevin Powell, who was a longtime hip hop writer, wrote for a lot of the magazines back in the day. And I kept thinking he was going to do it. And then he never did it. And I just really wanted at least to try writing the Tupac book. I don't know if I succeeded or not. That's kind of what I wanted. I just thought, I'm just going to go for it. There are a lot of potholes, a lot of landmines, but I just decided to go for it.
Right.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, so what would you say? Were you a Tupac fan?
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, I love Tupac, but I didn't know. I feel like I felt like I knew a lot about Tupac until you do this kind of research and you realize you didn't know much at all. So I thought I know, right? Son of a Black Panther, New York, Baltimore, Oakland, LA, Suge Knight, Death Row, Thug Life across the chest. I get around. Like you think I ain't mad at you. You think and I didn't know anything. Like, I just didn't know anything. I thought I did. And I feel like I honestly doing this book gave me a PhD on Tupac, which is really rewarding. Yeah. I didn't know anything.
Right. So backstory, folks. So pretty much, I'm a Tupac enthusiast. So is Jessica. I saw like a clip earlier, I guess a few months back, where you were talking about how that Tupac wasn't a tough guy. He wasn't this, wasn't that. And, that caused up a stir. And I, from then on, I'm like, man, who is this guy? So when as the book release was getting closer, I saw that you doing some press runs, and I saw that you were doing an interview with Edie Amin of the Outlaws.
Yeah.
So he said, hey, if you guys want to come to the live taping, I immediately said, hey, well, I got questions and I got smoke for this guy. And sure enough, Jeff hit me with a friend request and the message alert saying, hey, got any questions? You can ask me here or there. So I'm like, you know what? I'll do both.
Yeah.
So I pulled up, we talked, and I wanted to have some animosity towards you, man, but you were so cool, so humble, you know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate that about you. And one of the things I appreciate about you is that you took back those comments that you said earlier and you apologized right there to Edie. How was that for you?
It's funny. We live in a society. I don't know where this happened. I don't know where it came from. Maybe Trump, to be honest with you, where no one ever apologizes for anything. No one ever apologizes for anything. No one ever admits they're wrong. It's a sign of weakness if you admit you're wrong. It's soft, whatever. It spans all. I think it spans politics and culture and color and ethnicity. It's a sign of weakness if you admit you're wrong. I was on that podcast. I sounded like an asshole. Like, I just did. It was stupid. It was just stupid and ill-advised. And what are you going to do? What? I deserve to be asked about it. I thought you asked some very pointed and questions that were kind of terrifying, but kind of legitimately fair. No, for real. Those are the kind of things. The thing is this: if you're going to write a book and you got to put yourself out there, people are going to ask you tough questions, and they should ask you tough questions. And I deserve to be asked about that. It was the funny thing is, honest to God, it was in the middle of a 2.5-hour interview, right? I did not think of it again. Just didn't think of it. It was like me just going blah, 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 blah. And when I saw it get clipped and go viral, and I started getting the death threats, I was like, I did not see this coming. And in a lot of ways, I may have said this on Easy's show. I don't remember. It was probably the best thing that could have happened for me, because it is easy to forget when you're so used to talking about your books that this is not Walter Payton. This is not Brett Favre. This is none of those people. This is a iconic figure, not just in sports, not just because he was great at a sport, but a symbolic figure for many, many, in particular, Black men and women who viewed him as a sort of cultural icon. And to just be flip about it and just be like, oh, he couldn't shoot me, blah, blah, blah. It was just stupid. It was just base level stupidity. And I'm glad it happened, even though it sucks. Because I think there was an odd there. If it hadn't happened then, maybe it would have happened now. Maybe I would have been flip about it now with the book coming out. Better get out of your system, get smacked around, deservedly so, and deal with it. So
right. Yeah. Like I said, you have not ran from no smoke. You taken accountability for statements, for certain things, and so I can definitely appreciate that character about you.
I just want to say, I remember at Edie's thing, they were like, anyone have any questions? And you go, I have a question. And I was like, oh no. It wasn't like you weren't smiling. You were just like, I have a question. And I'm like, oh, I know you do. But it was fair. You guys were fair, totally fair. So,
right.
Yeah. No, I think that was a great perspective on somebody who goes into something of this capacity. Like you are talking about somebody who's a cultural giant, right? And I've never written a book, me say personally. I've done some things. I've said some things, even here on this show, that I've had to go back and apologize for maybe the next week or a few weeks later, after reflection and seeing it in real time. So you're right. Not a lot of people have the capacity to realize their mistake and come back and address it and move forward from there genuinely, right? Like, not because, I might get canceled, so let me just throw out a fake statement, have my publicist write something up, and put it out there on Instagram. It definitely speaks to the measure of a man who can realize his faults, address them, apologize, and do them sincerely, and move forward from that standpoint. So I can appreciate that, even though I wasn't there to hit you with the hardcore press like third, in the audience. You know what I'm saying? But
I will say one thing, and it's kind of about that and kind of not. One thing I really hate about this society we live in now I feel like everyone is waiting for you to screw up so they can post it on social media. And I don't even just mean, I'm not even talking about me, like the woman at the baseball game who stole the kid's baseball. Like, I would say, like, that was horrible. That looked horrible. I was like, oh my God, this horrible woman. For all we know, she found out her husband was dying 20 minutes before that game. You know what I mean? Or for all we know, she's mentally ill and she had some moment. I do hate this about society. It's not about me. I deserved it, whatever. But we do like, and people don't actually think, I don't think people actually want an apology. I think people just want to shit all over you. And it's something really awful that has been cast upon us by these things all the time, 24 hours a day. We've just gotten really mean. We've just gotten mean, and the ability to dialogue, even like a show like this, just to talk. Nobody wants that anymore. They just want to yell at people. It drives me freaking crazy. Anyway, there's my tangent.
No, that's a great point right there. That's a great point. I have a question is when you're in the process of writing this book, when you're doing your research and everything else, like putting all your notes together, going through your process, how long did that take before you actually started sitting down writing?
So it was about 2.5 years of just research. So for 2.5 years, you're traveling, you're writing, you're recording, you're gathering, you're building up a database. You know, like I might have said during that talk, I'm really big into yearbooks. So yearbooks are really important. Right. So like just tracking down the different yearbooks. So Tupac, you know, he was at Roland Park Middle School. I found an old middle school yearbook for him from somewhere. He was at Dunbar High School freshman year. I had a friend who lived near Baltimore. He went to Dunbar, sent me photographs of every page of the yearbook. Baltimore School for the Arts, 2 years, get those 2 yearbooks. Tam High School senior year, get the yearbook. Then you make a Word file for every single person, all the yearbooks. Then you start reaching out to them. And it's just a massive, massive, overwhelming for me undertaking. Also, I use this website called newspapers.com. You pay for a subscription, and it's awesome. I highly recommend this. It costs like $100 a year. It's the best $100 you'll ever spend. Newspapers.com.
Right.
And I build up. I go day by day, literally day by day, birth to death through Tupac's life, looking for articles about him, his mom, his sister, and trying to build this. Really, what winds up being like 10,000 pages of notes. And then you go through it, and maybe there's one night in 1991, Tupac went roller skating with a girl from whatever, Bethesda. Her name was Becky. All right, I'm going to call Becky. And you just go through it and you build up this huge database of people and a chronology of life. It's a great way to make a living, but it's not easy, I guess. And not meant to be.
So you did like a real thorough investigation. Like just going through. That's what it sounds like. I mean, honestly, because that's one thing that I was looking at when Third was talking about the book. I was like, how can a man who I never heard of that's ever been around this guy can just write a book about this guy? So, and it's cool that you're explaining the process and how it went and everything else. Because, you know, honestly, that sounds like some pretty good investigative work. And I want to know what's going to separate your book from your biography to so many that got put out there from people who are actually close to him or people who are part of his entourage that put those out.
Well, I'll give you a good example. Honestly, to me, this is like a good example. Okay. I think Third heard me talk about, I think you guys heard me talk about this. Like Tupac has a headstone, a gravestone in Lumberton, North Carolina. And I didn't know this until I went. Lumberton is where his mom, Athenia, is from. And I went to Lumberton and received a tour of her old house. And the person who gave me the tour showed me the headstone. And it turns out some of Tupac's ashes were buried on this property in Lumberton, North Carolina. Now, to me, it's kind of a big deal. You're writing a book about someone. I always say, like, imagine if Marilyn Monroe was buried in, like, the back of a supermarket. You know what I mean? Or, like, what's Kurt Cobain is just buried in your yard. You know, like, that's literally the equivalent of this. In a yard, at a house, in Lumberton, North Carolina. Oh, there's Tupac's grave that nobody knows about. So,
that's wild.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said that's wild. Like, I never heard about that at all.
Yeah,
actually, right. I didn't know about that.
Ah, you're the one. How'd you know about it?
It was actually published in XXL. His mom did an interview, and of course we knew. I think she spoke about spreading some of his ashes in the Pacific in Malibu. Yeah. I think some got spread. I think in like South Africa, and I think she put some or the rest in that plot in Lumberton, North Carolina.
Interesting. I never saw that article, so I would say you and whatever the people who remember that article, but definitely like very few people knew that Tupac's grave was there, right? This is a difference. This is where I think like you can make a difference. Like 2 years ago, the Shakur estate, had a writer do a book about Tupac. And the thing about an estate putting out a book is there are going to be things in there they want you to know and things they don't want you to know, because ultimately this is not a dogging at them. They're trying to make money. Like they are the Shakur estate. So when you see $8 Tupac t-shirts in Target or Walmart, that's a Shakur estate. The estate obviously knew that there's a grave in Lumberton. Like they had to have known. They own the house, literally own the abandoned house, but it wasn't in the book. It just wasn't there. So you're writing a book about an iconic, all-time iconic, important figure in American history, and you knowingly don't include where he's buried. Like that to me is why you need biographies written by people who are not affiliated, right? Who are not looking out. I think part of my strength in this, honest to God, was I was an outsider, a sports writer. Nobody could say, "Oh, you used to write for XXL. You're Team Biggie. You used to write for Vibe. You're Team Tupac." No one could say, "Oh, you were Tupac's second cousin, so obviously you're going to write glowingly of him," or "Oh, you're his enemy, so obviously you're going to write negatively." I came in a complete outsider. My whole job, my goal was to research, learn his life, retrace his steps, without any bias whatsoever. I came in loving his music. I didn't know about his life story in any like micro way. So that was the goal of the book.
Right. Jess, I think Jess had some questions.
Yeah, so I
Bring it, Jess. Bring it. I'm here for it.
So you say that you took accountability for the things that you said in the book that were not, I guess, 100%.
Not in the book.
Oh, on interviews.
Yes, it was an interview from 4 months ago. Yeah.
Okay. So how do Tupac fans know that you're not just, taking accountability just to,
Sell books?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't I think the only thing I can ask is, and I always say, take it out from the library if you want, so you don't have to pay for it. I don't care. The only thing I can say is read the book, read the book and see if this person put in the work and the effort. I can't if someone I would understand someone being like, "Oh, he's just saying that because blah, blah, blah." I get it. We all do that. I'm sure everyone does that. Read the book. If you think the book is trash and you think this is a guy who was lazy and flippant and was dismissive of Tupac's legacy, then you have there's a great argument to make that I'm just full of shit. I also think, honest to God, I really do mean this. If you look at my track record as a journalist, you won't find a lot of I have a track record as an not even pretty, as an honest, straightforward, hard reporting journalist. I do. I've been doing this a long time. I don't know what else I can say. I try my best, right. But if people are going to say, "Well, that was too much for me, what you said," don't read the book then. I can't force you to do it. I'm not saying you particularly. I'm just saying anyone. I can't. Just try your best in life, That's all you can do.
Well, with me, I'm a little bit close to this because, like I told you when we met at Edie's show, I knew people who knew Tupac. For me, Tupac was an inspiration. My favorite rapper, I studied my pops, shout out to him, told me that if you ever want to be great, you have to study the greats. And the first thing he ever did was put a magazine and a book in my hands and told me to read. So anything about Tupac, I read thoroughly. I watched countless documentaries, DVDs, interviews and stuff, because I wanted to try to get inside his mind as to how he created. So, and even so much to the fact that, I knew Frank, who worked on the documentary and the book, Frank Alexander, Johnny J, I'm cool with Tracy Robinson. Who else? A few other folks, Adrian Gregory, so I know a few people, and I've done some projects in his name. So I definitely felt I'm one of these Tupac diehards that, definitely that take him serious. And the thing I could say about your book, and this is just me giving a different perspective, is that, it's good to get an outside perspective because you interview people in there Set Shakur, who I don't even think for the official biography that got put out by the estate, she didn't interview with them.
Correct.
You have Yasmin Fula, which is Yaki Gaddafi's mom, in there, and she spoke. So I can definitely appreciate the other perspective that you brought to the table. The thing that I disliked about it was that, because some of these news outlets, just like what you said, they find certain things to be salacious and they take the salacious things from your book and they make it seem as if you're just actually just dogging them out. So like this, for example, this right here, actually, so I guess this was on hiphop.com. It said Tupac Shakur wore skirt with pom poms and kids' boys, claims new biography. Is there any truth to that, or are they just embellishing?
All right, I'll tell you exactly. First of all, that headline sums up everything I hate about modern media and clickbait media. Okay, Tupac is a senior in high school at TAM. It is Spirit Day at TAM, goofing around. He puts on a cheerleader skirt and pretends to be a cheerleader, goofing around on Spirit Day at TAM. So yes, like there is quote unquote truth that he wore a cheerleader skirt. It was him goofing around, as any 17-year-old kid might do. And if you go through my high school yearbook, you'll see, on Spirit Day, people goofing around wearing togas, So yeah, it's true. The other one is kissing boys. He did kiss a friend of his. He had a friend named Seth Bloom. He was his friend at Baltimore School for the Arts. They jokingly pecked on the lips, right? When Tupac was a sophomore in high school. It wasn't sexual. Seth Bloom talked about his friendship with Tupac. And that was it. That was actually it. So I was writing about, especially in relation to the kiss, a large part of what that was about was this freewheeling, free-spirited performing arts school that Tupac was a part of, where there were a lot of gay kids, there were straight kids, there were kids who loved ballet, there were kids who loved opera, and he was a part of that. Tupac was a butterfly, and I don't mean that in any sexual or anything way. He was a butterfly in a performing arts school. He fluttered around. He was this beautiful kid who loved the arts, loved dance, loved singing, loved everything about it. He was that kid. If you listen to Tupac, very few homophobic lyrics in Tupac lyrics. There are a couple. Gay Ass Dre is one example. Not a ton. Tupac was an open-minded hip-hop artist way before they're super open-minded hip-hop artist. He was surrounded by gay students, by straight students. They were his friends, they were his colleagues, they were his classmates, they were his teachers. That headline, if you read that headline, you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe, how can this writer say he wore a skirt? It's read the freaking context. It's totally different. So I understand it. And I could say I just don't think, I'm not writing a book thinking about how all hip hop is going to write headlines off of it. I'm just not. I'm not going to allow myself to do that.
Right.
I don't care if it hurts me or not. I'm not doing that. So if you want to criticize a book for that, that's fine. But I don't think it's really a fair criticism because it's not what it was.
But listen, I'll be honest, I haven't finished the book entirely.
You're under no contractual obligation to read the book.
No, but I felt it was necessary before having this conversation to do, just as you've done, as much research about it as possible. I think, I listen to a lot of books on Audible because I'm driving most of my day for work. So I think I got 2 hours left of the book. But
the guy who reads it does a good job, don't you think?
Yeah. No, he did an amazing job.
I do want to say, I just want to say for the record, I was asked a million times, so are you going to read your book? I'm like, I'm not reading this book. The last thing we need.
No, I think that was a good decision. I think that was a great decision. The gentleman reading, he does a great job. He keeps you entertained and engaged into the book. So, listening to it for the past couple of days while on my trek through life, I can appreciate that we as fans, right? We all have our theories about, Tupac's life. We hear the snippets, from New York down to Baltimore into the Bay Area, going back to the Bay Area and then, Digital Underground. That's pretty much the consensus of most casual fans of Tupac before he got his big break. But I did appreciate the big wealth of information that you dropped into each of those categories, right? Through each of those periods of life, which I'm pretty sure took a ton of amount of research. But I wanted to ask, was a lot of that, I heard you speak on, going through yearbooks and maybe calling people, but were there a lot of referrals on who to talk to during that time? Well, was it a lot of, well, maybe you should talk to this person? And, because everybody has a different story about Tupac based on where he was at that time and what type of person he was. But your book kind of brought it all meshed in together, which was good.
No, thank you. A big one for me, just as an example, was when he was at Baltimore and everyone said, you need to talk to Mary. You need to talk to his girlfriend, Mary. Definitely talk to Mary. And I kept trying to talk to Mary, and Mary wouldn't talk to me. And I told her about the Brenda story, about finding Brenda's baby, which definitely helped me a lot. That was pretty early in the process. And it gave me some kind of authenticity, because it was like, whoa, you did what? And also it helped that I had a book become a TV show on HBO that was on at the time called Winning Time. That helped me a lot too, just with authenticity.
Right.
So this woman, Mary, she finally talked to me, and she was Tupac's girlfriend when he was a sophomore at Baltimore School for the Arts. White girl, communist parents who loved Tupac, just loved Tupac, because Tupac's Black Panther ethos, their communist ethos really merged together. And Tupac started going to communist meetings, party meetings with the Baldridge family. And Mary lives in Nebraska now. And she said, my mom recently found about 150 letters that Tupac wrote me under the bed. And if you come out to Nebraska, I'll show you the letters. I didn't even know Mary was a girlfriend until someone told me Mary was a girlfriend. Next thing you know, I'm in Nebraska, as I've said, eating the worst bagel I've ever had in my life at the deli in Center City, Nebraska. They microwave the bagels in Nebraska. I'm just saying, I'm a Jewish guy from New York. You cannot microwave bagels. No.
Right. Exactly.
It's a big no. So, but she has these letters, and they're these beautiful letters written by Tupac in his beautiful penmanship from when he was a young guy, 16 years old, how much he loves her, how much he needs her, how much he wants to hold her, have sex with her, but also how miserable he is at home, how hard his mom is, how much he loves his mom but hates his mom, how he needs to get out, how he's going to be homeless tomorrow. Him and the different music he loved. Like, it's weird, right? Randy Travis, Everything But the Girl, Don McLean, Kate Bush and Peter Gabriel. Also, LL Cool J and Run DMC. Like, he was this amazing collection of influences, which is really interesting because, like, this is one thing, maybe as an outsider to hip hop, you don't realize how diverse the musical landscape of hip hop artists are. Like, these are not people just listening to hip hop. Like, I guarantee you, LL Cool J has a very strong knowledge of Barbra Streisand and Hall & Oates and whatever. And Tupac had that too, because you're taking it all and you're not only sampling it, but you're getting ideas from it. And I just think, like, if I hadn't gotten to Mary, I wouldn't have seen the mixtapes. I wouldn't have read the love letters. And it gave me a really good idea of how beautiful of a writer he was at a very young age. So that was like someone leading me to Nebraska, reading letters by Tupac that no one had seen before. That was very big for me.
Yeah, he was a big Kiss fan also.
Oh, he did like
that's just, yeah.
And he, you guys know this at the Grammy Awards. I love this moment. It's Tupac had a prison. The reunited first time in makeup members of Kiss. So Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Peter,
right,
on the stage in Los Angeles, presenting best rock album by a group or duo to Hootie and the Blowfish. So there's this moment in time when on the same stage, the four members of Kiss, Tupac, Darius Rucker, all on the same stage. I love the weirdness of that. I interviewed the drummer from Hootie, and he was telling, in the same way, the drummer from Hootie, this guy Jim Sonnenfeld, I interviewed him about that moment, and he said, you wouldn't think this. He's like, but we loved Tupac. We were listening to Poor Righteous Teachers and Tupac and Tribe Called Quest all the time on our bus rides from place to place. So, music is music, and there's this like crossover love. Tupac loved Kiss. Kiss loved Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie and the Blowfish loved Tupac. Big swirl of music love. It's cool.
That's awesome how that works.
Totally.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Another thing. I'm sorry. Another thing in your book that you definitely broke headlines with was, the infectious song "Brenda's Got a Baby."
Oh yeah.
What thoughts or what possessed you to think like, hey, I want to try to find the baby or see if I can pinpoint or find who this baby is that he is referring to?
I just want to say I was on a show the other day, and it was me. And there were three other hosts, and they were all black men in their probably 30s. And the one guy goes, Only a white guy would think to look for Brenda's baby. And I thought, I don't actually think so. I don't think so. I don't, though. I just think it's a journalistic way of thinking. I think it's only a journalist, like only someone who has covered sports for a long time at Sports Illustrated, right? And the idea was always make the extra call, always make the extra call, always make the extra call. I just thought it was funny when he said that, because I know plenty of experienced Black sports journalists who do the exact same thing, because it's kind of how our brains are trained. Search, search, search. Find something unique, find something different. I love the song Brenda's Got a Baby. I think it's an incredibly important song in the Tupac catalog. It's his first big hit. I knew the story because Omar Epps had talked about it. I knew the story about Tupac reading this article. I found the article in the Daily News. In 1991, it was called Cries in the Night. It was about a 12-year-old girl being raped by her cousin, giving the birth to the baby on the bathroom floor. And I thought it would be amazing if we could find the baby. And I work with a genealogist who's a wizard. And she found a number one day for this guy named Davon Hodge. I go out to Las Vegas to meet him. He's the baby. Long story short, we then tracked down the mom who threw him down the trash heap, who he hasn't seen, and they reunited in Las Vegas. And it was this crazy journalistic moment for me, really powered by a great genealogist who's really good at finding people.
Right. So the question I want to ask, though, and it's an amazing story. How do we know for certain that this is the Brenda? How do we know for certain this is the baby?
All right. So, number one, the times completely matched up. So the time period matched up completely. Number two, there's a Noble Drew Ali housing unit. The baby was born on this date. This baby, verified by birth certificate, date of birth, time of birth, was the baby born in, literally, not in the hospital, in the Noble Drew Ali housing unit. So you can match everything, and there's only literally one possibility, and it was this kid. Plus, when he did go back to Brooklyn, a lot of his relatives are like, do you know who you are? I'm just saying as an additive. He's like, I'm a baby who blah, blah, blah. They're like, we're pretty sure you're the baby from Brenda's Got a Baby, because the details of the song, they match with it and the time period. But the main thing is he's literally the only baby born on that day, on that time, not in the nearby hospital, but in the Noble Drew Ali housing unit in Brooklyn, New York.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a detail you need to prove that right. You know what I'm saying?
There's only one. Word two. If twins were born on that day, I'd be in trouble. You might have a good question.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I do think that's dope, and that's a noble cause, man, to be able to flush that out, and just work with genealogists. Outside of the genealogists, what was your other challenges in creating that, or was it strictly down to the genealogist? Because in the book, that's what it seemed like. You just contacted her, hey, this is what I need. She worked it out, found the information, called you back, and this is what we got.
Well, I mean, number one, you have to convince a 33-year-old man who's been through a ton of trauma in his own life to sort of open up to you and trust you. And I mean, one thing I really got a PhD on, maybe not PhD, but a master's degree working on this, is like trauma, young trauma. As Yasmin Foolish said to me, there's nothing like Black trauma in America, and what people go through and what this kid went through. If you think about it, in a way, I haven't even fully, probably properly like, he reunites with his mom, right? And I'm like, oh, this is an amazing story. It's an amazing story. His mom threw him down the trash compactor, like literally opened the third floor trash chute, put her baby in a plastic bag, threw your baby down the trash heap, right? So that's not just trauma of like being discarded by your birth mother. That is, in the literalist sense possible, your mom throwing you out in the trash and presuming you were going to die. That is a lot of shit to overcome. Like, that's no joke. So I think, like, even just getting Davon to trust me, and I feel like we have a nice friendship now and a nice relationship, took, I can't say work, but a lot of like discussions and conversations, and like making sure he knew I was not, like, I never wanted him to think, it's almost complicated. Like, it isn't a book. So theoretically it benefits me. It's a book. If the book sells, that benefits me. I never wanted him to think that I was taking advantage of his story. Like, we appeared on All the Smoke together about a week ago. I wanted him to know with 100 million% certainty, I did not care if he went on. I didn't want him to feel pressure to go on. He doesn't need to talk about this story. If he never wants to talk about it again, he never has to talk about it again. Like, it is not. I had a show, an NPR show, This American Life, reach out to me today about having us do the show, right? And I was like, I said to them, and I really mean this, I'm not trying to look like a hero at all. I was like, this is not my story. Like, I'm happy to be the conduit, but it is the story of this kid and what he went through. It's not about, we have enough white savior movies in America. Like, we don't need another, oh, look at the great reporter who found this kid. Like, it's not about that. It's about his journey. So this was really important to me that he knew all the way along, like, it's your story. And the minute you don't want me to tell it, don't want me to use your name, don't want me to do anything with it, I will not do anything with it. It's far more important than a stupid book that will be selling for $1 in a year in dollar shows. It's not worth it. So that was always kind of hanging there for me.
I have a question.
Okay.
So you mentioned also in the interview with Edie that you have a PhD in trauma.
Probably just a master's degree, not a PhD.
Okay. My question is, since you've gained all this knowledge on trauma and Black trauma, why would you write about Tupac and the alleged case about him allegedly raping another girl?
Man, you're bringing the heat, which I can appreciate, actually. Yeah, it's fair. That's a fair question. All right. So to give a little background on this, as you guys know, Tupac, the Ayanna Jackson, that is why he went to prison at Clinton, because of the sexual battery case. And I, while doing the research, found a police report that was filed 4 months earlier by a woman in Los Angeles. She was 21 years old, Latina. She was at a club with her friends. Long story short, she danced with Tupac one time. Her boyfriend was back at USC. Her friends kind of left her, stranded her at the club. She needed a ride home. This is all allegedly, I just want to say. It's from the report from interviewing her. And she gets a ride, and she said to me, you know, I kind of thought I was safe because he's famous. Why would a famous person do something? You know, he's famous. You're not going to. And according to her, gets a ride home. Tupac says, we're going to stop at our place real quick. It's him and a couple of friends in the car. We're going to stop at my place real quick. And she's like, why? And she's like, no, just real quick. I have to pick something up. They park at his place. She says, I'll stay in the car. He's like, no, come in. And according to her, he brought her back to the room, his room, forced her into sexual activities, called his friends in after he was done. She started screaming, etc. He was like, oh, just take her home. Told one of his friends to drive her home, who was there. He started driving her home, said he wouldn't take her all the way. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but unless she performed a sexual act on him as well. She finally gets dropped off at her boyfriend's house. Her boyfriend is a player at USC, a football player at the time. And she immediately calls the police, goes in, undergoes a rape test, is examined, has vaginal bleeding, rectal bleeding, bruises on her body, tells the police what happened. The investigator assigned to this decides not to pursue it because they say she had an opportunity in one little sliver of time to run away, and she didn't run away. Okay. I get this police report. First, it is a redacted case. So the first file I see has no names. And if I think redacted, I probably would not have touched it. The second file I have has the unredacted names. I also had a detective confirm the validity of the report, that it was a real report. This wasn't doctored or something like that. I reached out to the woman. I found her. Initially, she didn't want to talk. Then she wanted to see the police report. I showed her the police report. She read the police report. She grew very angry reading the police report because this was 30, almost more than 30 years ago now. And she said, reading the police report, she was reminded that they didn't pursue the case because they said she could have run away, right? And I did a very long interview with her. Her, narrative is unchanged from what happened. And she was traumatized by this, or at least she said she was. So I'll just say allegedly all the time. And here's my argument. And I do want to say, I understand people who are like, why would you use that? Why would you do that? Tupac went to prison for allegedly, it was sexual battery charges, but it was allegedly sexually assaulting a woman.
Forcibly touching the buttocks.
Correct. And after having sex with her amicably.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Sure. And then his friends came. His friends came in, including Haitian Jack, and they whatever. And they had their way with her. And this woman, Ayanna Jackson, immediately when all this is done, according to reports, leaves the room, calls the police in the hotel. The police come, etc. To me, as a journalist, this is a huge moment in Tupac's life. No matter how we say, no matter what side you take, no matter how you feel, Tupac being arrested changes the course of everything. Everything. And he goes to prison for it. And it was for sexual battery. That is literally the charge, is sexual battery. I don't think you can find a journalist, black, white, young, old, hip hop, sports, news, entertainment, who would have a police report of a similar instance from 4 months earlier, verified by a detective, interviewed the woman, called the other person in the car who turned down an interview, didn't deny it, just turned down an interview. I just don't think it would be journalistically responsible. No matter how much someone loves Tupac, I just don't think it's journalistically responsible to not write that there was this allegation that mirrored the one that took place 4 months later. I just don't. I know you could say, well, he's not here to defend himself. That is correct. He's deceased. There's literally nothing I can do about that. But you can make that argument about a million things with Tupac. How can you write about him being up the limo driver? He's not here to defend himself. How can you write about the Alan Hughes beatdown? He's not here to defend himself. I don't know what to tell you. I just know if I'm reporting a book, a true journalistic book, not a fan book, and he goes to prison for sexual battery, and 4 months earlier, a woman makes a similar case, interviews with me, I have the police report verified, and I try to interview the other person, I don't know what else you're supposed to do. And I know you're going to make an argument against me, and it's cool, but I'm just saying that's my perspective. Sorry for long one.
So the outside looking in, just giving you a different perspective to kind of like, proceed.
Yep.
It would be a thing of, okay, so if you look at both cases, both, this other one in LA allegedly had a boyfriend. So why is it that these women who have boyfriends are putting themselves in these positions? That's one thing. And then on the other hand, my question would be, as a reader, are you putting this in or including this into the definitive biography of Tupac Shakur? Are you trying to align and say that he is capable of this behavior? Or are you just simply mentioning an allegation?
I don't know if he's capable or not. I feel like, wait, what was the first question you asked? Because I wanted to answer that, and it kind of slipped my head right there. I apologize.
It was more so just a different perspective. Like, okay, you have this one over here where you look at the case. She has a boyfriend who is a football player at USC, Right. So what are you doing in this position? And then also, too, we know that, hey, and I'm not saying this is to any victims out there. Of course, we have, victims, and then we have people who will expound or maybe, embellish on certain things, So I'm not saying that she didn't, whatever, but it's one of these things where if we don't know definitively, I would have said maybe kind of like keep it out of the book, as a Tupac fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is the good, the bad, the ugly. If he did, then that would be one thing. If he
did you read the book yet? I'm not being critical.
I read it. I actually just finished it today.
Okay. The book, as you know, I haven't talked about this at all in this regard. That chapter starts with a story literally told to me by his cousin, Kenny. You probably remember this, East Lansing, Michigan. And I'll tell her right here. Tupac is having sex with multiple women. Mm-hmm. Kenny Lassane has recently become a Muslim.
Right.
Calls his cousin, and he calls him his hairy ass cousin, because he's been growing out his, for religious purpose. He calls him in, and he says to one of the women, "This is my cousin. Give him a blowjob." And she's like, "I don't want to give him a blowjob." And she's like, he's like, she's found. Now this is from Kenny Lassane. This is a direct story told to me from his cousin. This isn't from quote unquote a groupie. This isn't from someone quote. Again, I don't know if Tupac, what he did and what he didn't do. I just think Tupac fans, which I understand, want to believe the best of an icon. Like, I understand that. I really do. I understand that wholeheartedly. I do. But I feel like if I were writing a book about someone you don't care, if I was writing the John Oates biography, right, from Hall and Oates, and I literally tried to pull that one out. I thought that was pretty good. And I literally told you Oates was accused of sexually battery, and 4 months earlier, there was this rape allegation against him. Do you think I should use that? I think you would probably say yes. I'm just being honest. I think you'd be like, yeah, that sounds like it would be reasonable to use considering the thing later on. I think because it's Tupac and you love Tupac, which I totally get, I think it becomes personal. And for me, this whole book, and maybe it's for bad, I don't know, was journalistic. I wasn't trying to defend Tupac. And I'll tell you one more thing, and this is important. I really mean this. This would be an easier book to sell if I did not have that in there. And I knew that from the time I reported.
Very true.
I know that. I see the attacks. I see the who is this guy. I totally get it. Like, I just really believe in journalism. As I probably said that night, like, I believe in journalism. I do. And like, at the end of the day, maybe we have different values about this. I don't mean moral values. I mean, like, what is important to tell in a book. To me as a journalist, if I left that out, I would actually feel like a con. I would feel like
I feel you 100%. Like, you want to get the good, the bad, the ugly, the complex, the intricate thing about your biography is that you capture the contradictions of Tupac. 1 minute he could be keep your head up, Brenda's got a baby, my beautiful black sisters, and it's another wonder why they call you bitch, and how do you want it? That is the complexities of us as humans. You know, we're different ways around different people. So I get it. If it was one thing, if he did it, then it'd be a thing. Okay, hey, mention it, because we want the good, the bad, and I'm talking as a huge Tupac fan. But with me, a little background with me. Again, I am a hip hop performer. I'm an entertainer. I've seen the quote unquote groupies, the one who has a boyfriend or who's talking with somebody, and they put themselves in these positions. And then again, once you don't necessarily get what it is that you want per se, then all of a sudden here comes these stories. And I've seen the backstage stuff. So again, I'm seeing it from both perspectives, from yours, and then I'm also seeing it from a performer's perspective. Even as a Z-list celebrity, if you say, like, if a woman sees potential in you, or even a man, they see potential in you, they will embellish a story in order to.
Hey man, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. You know what I'm saying? Nobody looking for you.
Coming. I'll be there. Wait, I hear what you're saying. I actually do. I will say this. This woman, and I'm not, again, for the millionth time, not that it helps me, I am not saying he did it or didn't do it. And there's nowhere in the book where I say it. Like, someone today wrote me and said, how can you call him a rapist? There's nowhere in the book where I call him a rapist. I'm just saying, like, I understand I put it out there. Like, I've mentioned the chart. I never, ever. I just want to say that. Okay. I'm just saying, in this woman's defense, again, not knowing she had no reason to talk to me. She is now a mother in her 50s, living way out of state. She spoke to me anonymously. Like, there was nothing to gain for her at this point.
Right.
Nothing. She was mad when she heard the police report because she was furious about their refusal to pursue it because they said she had a chance to run away. And there's a long history, especially back in the 90s and the 80s, of police reports, police departments across America lazily responding to sexual assault cases and dismissing it as, well, blank, you could have just run away, or blank, he was your boyfriend, so he couldn't have beat you, or blank, you're married to him, so there's no way he did blank to you. And I just think, like, for me, I felt her frustration. Again, I'm not saying he raped her. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just reporting the report that was filed and its proximity to the incident that happened at the Parker Meridian. I think it was important enough to report. But I do understand the question. I really do.
Right.
And if people think it was bullshit of me to write it, I understand. I disagree, but I understand.
I hear you.
To be honest, now after hearing the backstory, I don't necessarily feel that way. You know, on surface value of hearing it without context, you know, because in the book, all the context you just gave is not there, right? We just hear the story. Here it was a part of his life, and then we kind of move on. But hearing the context of how it was relevant and why you felt it needed to be in there kind of changes it. Maybe for some people, not for all. I'm gonna be honest. There's a bunch of Tupac fans that still don't give a damn. They don't care about none of that shit. But in reality, like I kind of get your perplexity to tell the truth, regardless of your feelings. And to me, if that's part of the truth, you know what I'm saying? Like not necessarily saying he did it or not did it, but that there was actual report filed
But
and it
even
was in
even still with
context
that
of.
playing advocate, I know I haven't played advocate in a while.
Hey, yeah,
But even
I didn't play
Indiana,
advocate before I finished. You know what I'm
my
saying?
fault.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But even the Ayanna Jackson thing, there was some inconsistencies. And the one thing, even with that, Tupac did take accountability for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even Charles Man Fuller said that, hey, he got up and walked out of the room. So we don't know necessarily if she was doing that to get in good favor with Tupac, to smash the homies. This is what he's into, then maybe he'll still be with me, which is naive to think, or if it actually forcibly happened. But we don't know what happened in that room once he walked out. But he took accountability for that. Like, I should have used better judgment. I should have made sure she was out of there, and this, and that. So there is that, And again, like, the one thing that Jeff, I think that you brought up with you and Edie was that Tupac was like in his early 20s, so he was making mistakes, and that's the complexity of us being humans, that we make mistakes and we should be allowed to make them. But again, just with the Anna Jackson, there were some inconsistencies even in her story that made her look like a little But again, even with this woman, I don't know her whole story per se until you brought it out, but who knows?
I mean, I would say in many sagas like this, there are inconsistencies. I mean, when he was in court, he was doing an interview outside of court one day, and Tupac said, she said, I sodomized her. She sodomized me. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, she didn't sodomize. I'm just saying, like,
right.
These cases are like, that whole case was a big dumpster fire of craziness like that.
It was.
He's literally showing up in court in a wheelchair at one point, because the Quad Studios, like, it's all
right.
I don't think there's ever been a bigger clusterfuck of like things happening at one time than Tupac on trial and Quad Studios all in that same time sphere. It's a crazy, crazy time to be Tupac and to observe what's going on. So anyway, and the moment when one of my favorite moments, just because it's so weird, the time he's wearing the Detroit Red Wings jersey and he's spitting at the paparazzi.
Yes.
So Yasmin Fula, who is Yaki's mom and Tupac's sort of advisor, I taught her a lot for this book, and you could see her in the background, and she told me they're walking out, all the paparazzi are there, and she says, "Now Tupac, just go right to the car, just go right to the car," and he starts walking up and spitting on the reporters, and she's just going. You can kind of hear her in the background going, "Tupac, no! Tupac, no! Don't do that!"
I heard I didn't know that was her, but yeah, I heard that before. Yeah,
Yasmin Fula yelling, "Please don't spit on the reporters!" And I interviewed the reporter, the photographer for the New York Post, who was there, and I asked him, "Did he remember what Tupac said?" And Tupac said, "I'm not spitting on you. I'm spitting on what you represent." He's kind of spitting on them, though. He's kind of doing both at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
See, back to my point, third. You know what I'm saying? You can't be mad at those factual, you know what I'm saying, inclusions and then be, subjective about the other ones. It's all necessary. You know what I mean? I understand as a fan, as what you call them earlier, Mr. Pearlman, the guardians, right? As a guardian, I think a lot of people's emotional and ego-driven feelings get involved when certain stories come up.
Hey, you want to know something? I just received a text, and the text said, "Father, funk you."
Hey, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Look, 30 days.
Go ahead, Jess, real quick before we segue into a few more questions. I don't want to hold on Mr. Pearlman, but
oh no, I just want to say,
oh my God, I cringe. I cringe every time you ask a question now. I'm like, oh no, what's coming? Shit. Go ahead.
She's short, but she's feisty, right?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. No, go ahead. They're all fair. It's all fair. Yeah.
I'm just looking at it as just for people in my community, not even just as a fan, just for people in my community. Like I said about the Black trauma, you know what I mean? There's many people that have been accused of doing things with women that were not true. Emmett Till, perfect example. You know what I mean? So it's like, why even put it in there if you have a master's in Black trauma? Why even put that in there?
He doesn't have a master's in Black trauma. He has a master's in trauma.
Okay.
Yeah, trauma in
Master's
general.
in trauma.
Yeah.
Why even put it in there? You know what I mean? Because I have a son, and if someone accuses him of doing X, Y, and Z, you know what I mean? That's where I'm coming from.
Let me ask you, let me throw it to you actually in a way. I don't mean this in any kind of confrontational way. There's a woman who swears to God that when she was 21 years old, Tupac drove her back to his apartment when she thought she was just getting a ride home. There's a woman who's now a mother of multiple kids, who's married to the man she was dating at USC. As a woman, again, I'm not being confrontational, to be clear. I'm actually kind of fascinated. Like, do you not feel her side? Do you not, like, she would say, why wouldn't you believe me? Why would I make this up? It was 30 years ago. You're not even using my name. I have no benefit here. I don't want to tell, like, I don't like relitigating this stuff, but I read the police report and it really pissed me off because they did not believe me. I was sexually assaulted and the cops just tossed it aside and don't believe me. So I ask you as a woman, isn't that a fair point too? Maybe it's not, but like, isn't there something to be said for that too? Like, why do we always make excuses for the men? Oh, there are women always taking advantage of men. Oh, the man is always this. You have to understand, blah, 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 blah. Like, isn't there something to be said for, we always dismiss women, especially when it comes to famous people. We always say, that guy would never do that. That guy would never do that. That man would never do that. He's never done that. I've heard a million times, he could have had sex with anyone he wanted. He wouldn't do that. And that's been said a million times about a million different people, murderers, rapists, pedophiles. He wouldn't. He's been the uncle to my nephew for years. He would never do that. He's been in my house 17 times. He would never kill anyone. I know him. We say that over and over and over again. And I do think the defense of men, black, white, Latino, tall, short, right, left, against the words of women, I find it hard to believe that women generally want to be on the scene and make up being raped, especially when she got no financial gain. She could have sued. She could have done a civil case about this. She chose not to. She didn't want the fame of it all. So I guess I ask you, why don't we believe the women more often?
As a woman, I would never even put myself in that situation.
What was the situation? She was drunk and needed a ride home.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would never ever.
Jeff. Look, let's put it in a more modern term. If we read this story on Instagram tomorrow, the story of this lady, and Tupac wasn't the name of the gentleman she was speaking of, women would be outraged that the police did absolutely nothing. Let's just be honest.
I agree.
Women would be absolutely outraged that the police did absolutely nothing for this young lady. I'm just me being non-biased, right? I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what that department feel like. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been raped. I tried to a couple times, but nobody wanted to. So, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, truth be told, right? Listen, if this was on everybody's news feed in the morning, women would be up in arms right now, asking for justice reform, difference in policing. But because this happened early 90s, late 80s, whatever the time frame may be, it was a different time then.
I also want to say my wife, who's a social worker, she overheard me saying, she just texted me, she wrote, women are outraged daily because police don't prosecute. That's why they don't report. And my wife, who's a longtime social worker, I think that's a fair take. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's one of those gray areas. I hear you. One of the things too that, are you good with time or you have to go?
I have another like 10 minutes. My wife's going to kill me because we have food downstairs.
That man in trouble.
Yeah.
Just want to point out real quick, order the book.
Thank you.
Got on Amazon.
Thank you.
All right. So one of the things too, with the recent coming out, or actually the recent case of Keefe D, what are your feelings pertaining to that? Because that was one of the things I was looking for your take within the book or the biography.
Yeah.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that he had a hand in this? Do you believe his guilt, or do you believe that it was just made up or fiction?
I mean, he was in the car with Orlando Anderson, so he was involved. I find the murder I don't think the murder itself is overly confusing. I don't. And I think most people I interviewed from death row, different people along the way, tend to agree with me that, it's the aftermath of the Mike Tyson. Like, the big thing is this: people say, like, oh, no, you don't understand. Puffy paid them to do it, right? And I kept talking to people who were affiliated back in the day with either Mob Pirus or Compton Crips, right? And they keep saying nobody would do it on a promissory note. Like, Puffy didn't pay anyone yet. So, like, you're not going to go shoot someone. Oh, and when you do it, I'll give you $1 million. Like, you better give me half the money before I do this. I'm not just going to do this on your word.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, no, he did it because Puffy promised him money. That's utterly ridiculous. What do I know?
Well, plain advocate, he is stupid enough to maybe do that because he has been speaking about
he is so
placing
stupid.
himself in the actual car.
Come over.
Wait, in your defense there, KVD might be the dumbest man in America. I've never seen anything like this.
Correct.
Who implicates himself? Who implicates themselves in a book? What's the most amount of money he could have gone for that book? $30,000? Like, you literally implicated yourself in a book. Then go on The Art of Dialogue or whatever it was. How much could they have paid you, Max, to implicate yourself kind of again? What are you doing?
And then you go on Vlad. And then he actually goes on to Death Row Chronicles on BET.
I mean, this guy is not joining Mensa anytime soon. This is not a genius right here, I have to say. It's kind of crazy. Right. I just think, honestly, from the reporting, from talking to people, and I understand people have different opinions. I totally get it. It's after the Tyson-Selden fight. Tupac wasn't even going to be there, but he's there. He's with Trayvon Lane. Trayvon Lane recently did have his medallion swiped at the Foot Locker by Orlando Anderson, a gaggle of Southside Compton Crips. There's Orlando Anderson right in the middle of the MGM Grand wearing a Dan Marino Miami Dolphins jersey, which is super weird. Yo, that's the guy. Who? That guy right there in the Dan Marino Miami Dolphins jersey. Tupac goes up, punches him. They all come along. They stomp him out. They leave. You can't get your ass kicked by a rapper, as Orlando Anderson's friend said to me. Like, how are you going to go back to Compton after enduring that? I know there's some holes in that argument. That was the argument made to me. Like, the humiliation of getting beaten up by Tupac. Not that Tupac wasn't a warrior, but Tupac certainly was not a gangbanger.
Correct.
And, like, later on, they're looking for him. They drive to 662 Suge's Club. They're not there anymore. They're driving around. Holy crap, there's Tupac literally hanging outside of the BMW, out the window, kind of hollering at people. All hyped up, pulls up on him, shoots him. I just think whether it's Kurt Cobain or James Dean or Marilyn Monroe or pick your young death, Bob Marley, we love having the mystery of it and the mystique of it and the story and what really happened. And I think at the end of the day, Tupac's death was just a really unfortunate, ill-advised, him stepping out when no other artist in his shoes would have probably done the same thing. But Tupac was impulsive and unafraid,
Right. Got two more questions before I let you go. Yeah, well, the one thing I can appreciate about you is that you're not at least trying to help bail Keefe D out or put money towards his defense. Because
I just want to say
ludicrous shit that I've ever heard.
Wait, how are these channels paying Keefe D for interviews? Like, you're giving money to a guy involved in Tupac's murder. And I just want to say one other thing. I'll say this right here. I'm getting killed by this guy, DJ Scandalous, who keeps putting out AI videos of Tupac.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm disrespecting Tupac's memory, and you're giving us videos of him with Mr. Rogers. Let's actually think about that for a minute, the bullshit of that. Like,
right.
That's insane.
He's an interesting character. He blocked me on Facebook because I brought up something that was a contradiction. So also too, I seen that you've been catching some flack from Straight Game TV from Delray Richardson. You want to address that real quick before I ask you my next?
I honestly think it's funny. I saw he did a video today that my book was a bust. This is my best-selling first week I've ever had in my life. And it's not even close. The book is sold really well. And the truth of the matter is, and I'm being serious, I should be sending that guy flowers because he keeps talking about me. And he keeps talking about me and he keeps talking about me. So you think I'm going to shit all over him? I'm going to do the opposite. Delray Richardson, thank you for talking about me. Like, you're doing me the biggest favor. It's hard. I'll be honest. It's been hard to get on. I haven't gotten on Sway. I haven't gotten on Charlemagne. Like there are a lot of traditional hip hop outlets.
Sway's actually my cousin. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of ill because this Straight Game TV actually does literally videos on Reggie Wright involving like this whole Tupac murder thing. So yeah, you've taken the heat off of Reggie Wright now because he makes these videos about.
I'm here to help Reggie. I'm here to help Reggie and make his life a little bit easier. I'm here to help Reggie Wright, and I just like honestly, he's helping me. Every time he talks about me, he's helping me. I know it's not his intent, but it's all good. He seems kind of frustrated by something. I don't like beyond me. He just seems frustrated. So
I would love to sit down and talk with him too. Well, one other question too. Well, this is the two-parter. So, is there anybody in the book that you wish that you would have interviewed?
Oh, many. Jada and Suge are the two biggest ones. Suge, I DM with Suge back and forth. Suge, you can. So, as a journalist, I have visited prisons before, and you can in New York State, for example, you can literally show up, put your name on a log. They'll tell the person you're there. And if he's curious at all, he'll come out. Like I had that happen with a murderer I wrote unrelated to this book. And he came out and I interviewed him. With Suge in California, there's like a texting system with inmates, right? And so I texted Suge a couple of times and he would just write like one letter answers or be like, okay. The only time he responded with any sort of real anything, I found one of his old report cards when he was a student at UNLV. And I think it was theory of music or music appreciation. He got either a C or a D. So I said it to him and he wrote back, ha, 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 ha. And I thought, all right, that's good. But I didn't get Jada. I went to Jada's book event at the Miami Festival of Books and I thought maybe she would talk, but she didn't talk. But this was after the Will Smith thing. There was a lot going on in her life.
Yeah. So how was it? How did you land Set Shakur? Like, what was her? Has she said anything about the book since it's been released?
Not that I know of. Set is a very private person and a very good person. Very hard to get. Yasmin Fula is someone who I had developed a relationship with, and Yasmin, I believe, probably put in a word for me with Set, and I DM with Set a couple of times. Interviewed her once on the phone, and I was in Lumberton, North Carolina, where her mom was from, and she lives down south, and I just kind of said, "I'm in the area. Is there any way we could meet?" And she had lunch with me. So we had a lunch after. And she's I really want people to leave her alone. To be honest, like that's my number one. If I have a number one regret of this book, it's people kind of bothering her. Like she's a private person who I'm going to lower. I'm not going to say I have a master's in pain anymore. I'm just going to say I took a couple classes in pain. But I feel like
thanks to Jess over here.
Yeah, thanks, Jess. She's not gonna have the dunce cap on my head because of Jess. But she's been through so much through the years, like just a lot. And I don't know. She was really good with me, and I feel bad in a way that she's been thrown into it.
So we're gonna put this out there. Everybody out there, leave Set Shakur alone.
For real.
One of the things I can say about you, Jeff, that I appreciate with this book, ironically, is that I walked away with a deeper appreciation for Afeni and for Set Shakur. Like their stories definitely need to be told, but like you said before, and I will quote you, there needs to be either a masterclass, a movie, or something about Afeni Shakur because her story is remarkable. The good, the bad, the ugly. You walk away with a whole new appreciation of this woman.
You know what's actually interesting? I am for a while, and thank you. That's honestly really kind of you. Like when I started doing these interviews, I was talking from the perspective of a white guy growing up in a mostly white area, saying white kids in America have no idea who Afeni Shakur is. But I actually realized through promoting this book, I think most Americans don't know much about Afeni Shakur. They might know that she's Tupac's mom. I don't think young black men and women in America are learning enough about Afeni Shakur. I think she's a hero of the Black Panther movement. Again, just in synopsis, 21 years old, pregnant with Tupac, being shuttled from jail to the courthouse back to jail, malnourished, she's getting one egg and a slice of white bread a day. Turns down a court-appointed attorney in the Panther 21 trial because the woman has a very soft voice, and she decides without a high school diploma or any kind of legal training to represent herself. She's facing hundreds of years in prison for the members of the Black Panthers plans to bomb different locales in the Northeast, defends herself and wins, right? Not enough people know about her. It's a shame that she's known as Tupac's mom, if at all. In many ways, Tupac should be known, and I think he would agree with this were he alive, as a son of Afeni Shakur. So
absolutely, yeah,
that's perfect. On that note, we're gonna end it here. But again, so you told me your favorite Tupac song, and I think this is gonna solidify it because it's one of those like not commercialized ones. So, Jeff, what is your favorite Tupac song, and what is the thing that you appreciate most about Tupac since writing this book?
Now I'm terrified that I gave a different answer, but the one I've always said, because I believe is Shorty Want to Be a Thug. Is that what I said?
You told me Pain. You told me Pain.
Oh, I said 2 then.
Yeah, you did. You did.
To be clear, I gave 2. I'm not lying right
here. You did.
I said you're going to be a thug. Well, Pain I love for multiple reasons. Number one, I feel like a lot of people don't realize the opening little dialogue is from like Star Trek, The Voyage Home, or Star Trek, one of those. Your Pain, think about it. And I just think that song really, really, really radiates something in him, and like the pain he went through, and so informed by homelessness, by fatherlessness, by Baltimore, the rats scurrying up and down through the apartment, by his mom and the crack addiction. He just wore that stuff, he just wore that stuff. And I do want to reiterate again, I did say Pain and Shorty Want to Be a Thug. I did not. This is not someone's gonna. I know
that's actually my pop's favorite song is Shorty Want to Be a Thug.
See, I love that song because real quick, I'll tell you. Like, I may have said this at the time. Tupac is. I just want to say we had dinner ready, and my wife thought I was going to pick it up, but she angrily left the house, so I have enough time to tell this, and I have to apologize later because she picked up the Chinese.
Mrs. Pearlman, I apologize.
She says it's all good. She's not here, but I'm speaking on her back. When Tupac was living in Marin City, and he was a senior in high school, and he wasn't living with his mom, who was deep in addiction, and he was living with these 3 guys: Demetrius Striplin, August Terry, Ryan D. They were 3 aspiring hip hop artists. One day, Tupac is in a rap battle with a kid named Tack, a 13-year-old in the area, and Tupac is kind of new from Baltimore. He hasn't been there that long, and he's still MC New York, and he's still rapping primarily about like Stokely Carmichael and the Black Panthers and Black empowerment. And he gets in this rap battle in front of a bunch of people. They had a cement platform in the jungle where he lived. They called it the jungle, Marin City. And he gets his ass kicked. And he gets his ass kicked by this guy who raps about the hellscape of living in Marin City. Tupac vanishes for 4 or 5 days. Nobody knows where he is. And there's a guy who is a kind of a crack kingpin / just kind of gangster in the area named Bobby Burton. And for 4 or 5 days, Tupac followed Bobby Burton around, taking notes about what he's doing, how he's behaving, what his antics are, how he intimidates people, how he sells crack, etc. He comes back and he writes a song, Days of a Criminal. And it's this really informed song about living in the jungle, living in the projects, being a young Black man. And I interviewed Bobby Burton. It was actually really cool. It was like we went to a diner and it was me, the former crack kingpin of Marin City, and his like adorable little grandson. And we're all just eating, talking about old times. But in a way, to me, Shorty Want to Be a Thug is very emblematic of that. Tupac was not a 16-year-old gangbanger. He wasn't built like a Mack truck, but he was studying these people, observing what they were going through, and trying to tell their stories to others. And that's why I really like that song. Long story short.
Right. Very good. This is Michael. I can't read the name, but
this is Michael Namicus.
You guys say it.
No, his name's Michael Namicus. He wrote an amazing book called The Tupac Encyclopedia, which I highly, highly, highly recommend. He self-published it. It's the best Tupac book in existence. Better than it's the best Tupac book out there. It's called The Tupac Encyclopedia. Self-published.
Hey, Michael, I appreciate you. Thank you for this. You know what I'm saying? Man, that section in the book was my favorite, was the Marin City, because again, I knew about the Baltimore for School of Arts, but the Marin, you took a deep dive. That's one of the things where I knew E-Train was working on. He was working on a project called Tupac, the early years, especially right there in the Bay Area. I wish he would have did that, because that whole transformation, that is what to me made Tupac was that Bay Area. And then exactly when he got put on by digital. So I appreciated your deep dive into that. So that was my favorite part of the whole book.
Don't you think there's an interesting, I just want to say there's a really interesting, like, There's this movie called Sliding Doors. I don't know if anyone saw it, where she goes this way and her life goes. She gets off the train, her life goes this way. She stays on the train, her life goes this way. Right. I just think there's this moment when Tupac moves from Baltimore to Marin City, where everything. If he'd stayed in Baltimore, he'd be he would graduate from the Baltimore School of Performing Arts. It wouldn't be a shocker if he goes to Juilliard or some art school, right? You know, the Berkeley School of Music, and it just wouldn't have been at all. Or he becomes an actor right out of high school, and he's doing more and more performances. And he's a Baltimore. Baltimore is not a hip hop haven at all. There were very few rappers coming out of Baltimore in the 1980s. Maybe he follows his acting trail, but he moves to Marin City. His mom becomes deep into crack. He moves in with these other artists. He follows that trail. He winds up meeting Layla Steinberg randomly. He goes to Digital, then Atron, then Digital Underground. Then he's off on this rocket ship. Like that Baltimore move, that is the intersection of his life where it's the sliding doors moment for Tupac. He goes this way or he goes that way. And who the hell knows what happened to be?
Yeah, just briefly, I wanted to add too. You know, I'm glad you put that short stint where he went back to Atlanta too.
Oh,
like, yeah, the importance of him becoming the leader of a movement without even understanding what he was signing up for, but actually going to do it for a Black liberation movement. You know what I'm saying? Because he felt like rap wasn't going to work out. So that even more puts that juxtaposed to that intersection in his life at that moment. You know what I mean? The Tupac that we would have gotten. You know what I'm saying?
The weird thing is, down there, he's in Atlanta with one of the guys from Tag Team. Like, that's one of his buddies in Atlanta.
I didn't know that one either, yeah.
I didn't either. And, like, Tupac, like, good or bad, like, one thing everyone will agree, he had no patience to speak of. Like, no patience to speak of. So, like, why isn't Digital Underground taking me on? Why aren't they taking me on? He's like 18 years old, right? He's like, why aren't they taking me on? And he's like, to hell with this. I'm going to Atlanta. I'm doing this. I'm going to help form a civil rights unit in Atlanta. And then he's there and he's like, this isn't really for me. And he gets a call and shoots off with Digital Underground and changes everything. He had no patience, none.
Man, you know, another thing, I could talk to you forever, man. Another thing I gave you props about that I didn't even know. I knew that my cousins who are JJ Fad, they shared Adrian Gregory as a touring manager who was Tupac's manager. So I knew about them touring with Public Enemy, Fresh Prince, and all that. I didn't know that before Tupac got put on, his group actually opened up for JJ Fad and Rodney O.
Yeah,
so
totally.
That was something that was really, really interesting. And, man, so I appreciate even that. I did not know, but that was literally my favorite part of the whole book. So I appreciate that.
I also like that he was like he's just in Digital Underground and he's on the Chocolate City tour, which is the best name for a tour ever, with Big Daddy Kane and like Third Base. And like, they're just like, imagine being Tupac, right? Less than a year ago, you're basically homeless. Your mom is a crack addict. You got nothing going on for you. You're not that great with the women. Like in high school, he had mixed results. He was not. And now you're on the Chocolate City tour, like roaming America on a bus with Shock G and Pete Nice and Big Daddy Kane and Kid and Play. And you're like, how did this happen to me? Like, this is just like, it's just wild. Yeah, I love that stuff. That's my favorite part of the book. My favorite part of the book by far is Baltimore, Marin City, Digital Underground. I just think it's a glorious.
That needs to be a movie within itself. So hopefully they pick it up. We can definitely get a better movie. No diss to All Eyes on Me, you know what I mean? But we can hopefully get a better movie, especially during that time period.
I just telling you now, I know who my agent is going to be. It's going to be Jess, because I know she's not going to take any shit. She's going to ask hard questions. So,
ready to go. She keeps me in line too, you know?
Yeah, wait. They're going to be like, we're offering $1 million. She's just going to give this look.
Since you had a bachelor's.
Do you really have $1 million or do you not have $1 million? Like, what is it? Come on. What is it?
Oh, you got a master's now? Okay.
Yeah. Take that back. Nah. Hey, you know what, Jeff? Also, too, I need to hook up on your genealogist. We talk about genealogy here on this show, too. You know, I'm deep into it, and especially finding my roots. So maybe she can help me find some things. So definitely, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. She's amazing. Just contact me.
I definitely will, man. Hey, you know, Jeff, I appreciate you very much. Man. Thank you for taking the time out to even sit with us on Drop Your 3 Cent. Like Michael said to me, this was a great interview. I've seen a lot of your press. This, by far, I really truly appreciate this one and all the smoke and Edie's show. Shout out to Edie, for even making the plug. I really appreciate you and thank you for coming through.
No, thank you guys for having me on. I really do appreciate it. And actually, Jess, I mean, about this, you ask great questions. Like those are all. I'm not bullshitting you. Like that's all fair. It is all fair material. I understand why you ask it. So I like honestly, it's all fair. It's all. I put myself in this situation. I decided to write this book. I understand why people are skeptical. I've understood it from the beginning. It's all fair. The skepticism is fair. All the questions are fair. There's nothing. I've not been asked a single unfair question by anyone here, and even on this tour. So I appreciate it for real. Thank you.
Hey,
Jeff, I appreciate you again.
Hey,
Thank
Jeff,
you
you just set us up for the next 6 months. We want to appreciate you for telling Jess she's right. So we got to do for the next 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Jeff Pearlman.
Yeah,
Jeff Pearlman said.
All of a sudden, your best friend.
I was right. You know what I'm saying?
All of a
So
sudden,
we gotta
Jess is
hear
like,
you
let me tell you
shit.
about my good friend, Jeff Pearlman. This guy.
Yeah. Guy who just took a couple of classes.
Hey, let me tell you about
his master's degree just paper to me, but he's still my friend, you know?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. You know what
You
I'm
remember
saying?
that guy who wanted to find Brenda's baby, Jeff? You know what he said?
This is like, let me tell you who knows more about Black culture than any man in America. Jeff Pearlman. That's my guy right there. Thank you.
Like I said, I appreciate you. This is about time when we wrap it up too, so we're going to end this too. I want to thank you guys for all watching. Please hit the like, share, subscribe button. Please make sure that you share this with your people. Please make sure that you spread the word. Jeff Pearlman came through and contributed, and he dropped his 3 cents about his book, Only God Can Judge Me, The Many Lives of Tupac Shakur. All right, this is 33. We got Quez, we got Method X, we got Jeff Pearlman. We thank you, and we will see you on the next stream. All right, y'all have a good one.